Uniontown, T-Town, touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back into The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I'm your host, Justin Smith, the Director of Recruiting for Touchdown, Alabama. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on our YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, subscribers. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we drop content on the YouTube channel. I'm here each week to break down the latest in Crimson Tide football recruiting news. We're going to talk about a couple of different things on this episode of The Process. Talk about the Crimson Tide's recruiting efforts in the 2024 recruiting class and beyond, and also talk about the Crimson Tide losing both of their coordinators and what impact that will have on the Crimson Tide's recruiting efforts. We're actually going to start right there. As you guys know, all Alabama fans know, Bill O'Brien has departed from the University of Alabama's football team, choosing to become the offensive coordinator, with the New England Patriots returning to the NFL. P. Golding has also decided to depart from the University of Alabama, going to the Ole Miss Rebels to be the Rebels defensive coordinator. I want to talk about each guy and what they brought to the table for the Crimson Tide and recruiting trail, and what their departures will mean for the Crimson Tide's recruiting efforts, and how Alabama will basically try to replace what they were doing in Tuscaloosa. Starting with Golding, I think a lot of people consider him to be one of the top recruiters in the country during his time in Tuscaloosa, just the way that he was able to recruit specifically the state of Louisiana. So with his departure, the Crimson Tide will be tasked with hiring a guy who can recruit the state of Louisiana at a high level, similar to the level that P. Golding did at. The Crimson Tide seem to want to put that task on Austin Armstrong, the new inside linebacker coach who was the defensive coordinator at Southern Miss this past season. So Austin Armstrong will be tasked with recruiting the state of Louisiana for the Crimson Tide. We've all seen this before, though. If you are an Alabama fan, you have seen this before. You've seen a coach come into Alabama, put that script A on their chest, and turn into a great recruiter. So Austin Armstrong will have an opportunity to do that. If the Crimson Tide hire a defensive coordinator who is able to recruit at a high level, that will be a huge plus for them. Like I said, Austin Armstrong will be tasked with the state of Louisiana, but if the Tide is able to hire a defensive coordinator who can also recruit at a high level, that would definitely be a huge piece for the Crimson Tide after losing such a great recruiter in Pete Golding. Looking at it from Bill O'Brien's perspective, O'Brien was one of the least talked about coaches when it comes to recruits when he talks to them, simply because he primarily recruited quarterbacks for the Crimson Tide, but he did have some big wins, specifically during the 2022 recruiting class when he helped the Crimson Tide sign five-star quarterback Ty Simpson from Tennessee. Of course, Simpson is coming off of his freshman season at the University of Alabama, and many expect him to be involved in the Crimson Tide's upcoming quarterback competition for this next season. O'Brien also played a role in the Crimson Tide signing both of their 2023 quarterback signings. When you take a look at Dylan Lonergan and Eli Holstein, also played a role in the Crimson Tide picking up a verbal commitment from 2024 five-star quarterback Julian Sand, who remains locked in with the Crimson Tide. So taking a look at Bill O'Brien, like I said, he was mostly tasked with recruiting quarterbacks for the Crimson Tide. And take a look at his recruiting efforts as a whole. Like I said, you probably couldn't call him just an ace recruiter or a great recruiter, but you could say he definitely helped the Crimson Tide secure their quarterback future. When you take a look at that quarterback room, take a look at guys like Ty Simpson, Dylan Lonergan, Julian Sand, and also Eli Holstein. So with him leaving to go back to the NFL, if the Crimson Tide can sign an offensive coordinator who can also recruit quarterbacks at a high level and recruit other positions and possibly recruit a specific area at a high level, like a Steve Sarkisian did when it comes to recruiting the state of California, helping the Crimson Tide pull in Bryce Young. If the Crimson Tide can get an offensive coordinator who's able to do that, that would be a huge plus for the Crimson Tide. Honestly, it would be an upgrade on the recruiting trail from Bill O'Brien if you can get a guy who can recruit like that at that level. But that is what I want to start today's show on. Just talk about that impact those guys leaving will have on the Crimson Tide's recruiting efforts. Now we're going to transition over to the Crimson Tide's recruiting efforts for the 2024 recruiting class with the coaches that they do have on staff, starting with Jeremiah Beaman, a 2024 four-star defensive lineman out of Parker High School in Birmingham, Birmingham, Alabama. Had an opportunity to travel to the gym they trains at, step-by-step gym, step-by-step training run by Coach L in Birmingham. Of course, had an opportunity to check in with Jeremiah as he worked out with Coach L. Of course, Beaman currently standing at 6'5", weighs approximately 255 pounds, and this guy moves effortlessly for a guy that size. He's a multi-sport athlete, plays football and basketball for Parker High School. Actually, after basketball practice, you will see him in the gym working on his football skills, working on his technique, trying to get better each and every day. And that is why so many programs are going after Beaman. Take a look at his offer list. It just continues to grow by the day, it seems. He has offers from Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, just to name a few. Actually, he's coming off a visit to Georgia. Had an opportunity to talk with him about that visit. He had an opportunity to go to Athens when the Georgia Bulldogs were celebrating their national championship victory over TCU. Said that was a great visit. The Georgia Bulldogs are definitely a school that he is considering at the moment, although his recruitment is pretty open. He's going to visit Clemson this weekend, has a great relationship with their defensive tackles coach Eason. Also has a great relationship with the Crimson Tide's defensive line coach Freddie Roach. He said he talks to Coach Roach each and every day, just talk about how their day is going, just checking in with them, letting him know that he is wanted in Tuscaloosa. Like I said, he's a guy who the Crimson Tide are going to prioritize, I feel, in this 2024 recruiting class at the defensive line position. Once again, the state is loaded compared to the 2023 recruiting class. Maybe not as loaded, but I will give you guys just a glimpse of the future. That 2025 recruiting class for the state of Alabama is going to be completely insane. But Jeremiah Beaman headlines a talented 2024 recruiting class for the Crimson, not for the Crimson Tide, for the state of Alabama when it comes to the 2024 recruiting class. Definitely a guy to know at the moment who the Crimson Tide are recruiting very, very hard out of Birmingham, Alabama. Another guy to know here early on this 2024 recruiting cycle is Aryan Hampton, a 2024 four-star wide receiver out of Texas who recently visited the Crimson Tide for Junior Day. I told you about this guy before he visited for Junior Day. He called the Crimson Tide's program wide receiver U. Said that a great relationship with Hallman Wiggins. Said they were talking almost a couple of times a week. He did not meet Nick Saban until that visit. That was his first time meeting Nick Saban. It seems that the Crimson Tide are trending upwards with Aryan Hampton. If you guys saw any photos or videos from Battle Miami, the 7-on-7 tournament that happened in Florida over the weekend, you saw him decked in the Alabama gear. So the Crimson Tide seems to be trending for the former Texas commit. He has a good relationship with the Crimson Tide's 2023 four-star wide receiver signing, who's going to be a freshman this upcoming season, Jalen Hale. And so I think that it's going to play a role in the Crimson Tide recruiting Aryan Hampton as he tried to go into Texas and land another wide receiver who Hallman Wiggins is basically going to be the main recruiter for, similar to Jalen Hale. So Aryan Hampton is a guy to keep your eyes on. A guy who Hampton could possibly play with the Tuscaloosa in the future if he decides to commit to the Crimson Tide, although his recruitment is a long way from over now. But Julian Sayin is a guy who the Crimson Tide have locked in at the quarterback position at the moment. 5-star quarterback out of Carlsbad High School in California. Had an opportunity to talk with Sayin recently, and he told me he's locked in with the Crimson Tide. And his exact word is nothing but roll tide over here with him. So the Crimson Tide seem to have their quarterback in the 2024 recruiting class. If you follow Alabama football recruiting, you know how important signing a quarterback is to Nick Saban. He wants to sign at least one in each recruiting class. After signing two in the 2023 class, he already has a commitment from a 2024 recruit, which is something we've seen Alabama struggle with after signing two quarterbacks. After they signed two quarterbacks a couple of recruiting classes ago, it was quite difficult to sign another quarterback in the following recruiting class, because no one wants to go into a program that has like two quarterbacks coming in the year before you. But Julian Sayin choosing to do that says a lot about the way he feels about the Crimson Tide, and it says a lot about the way the Crimson Tide have recruited him up until that point. But he said he's enjoying continuing to build his relationship with Alabama's coaching staff, also looking forward to recruiting for the Crimson Tide. He said at that point, right when I interviewed him, that he was not sure which recruits he was going to try to bring with them to Tuscaloosa, but he does know he's going to try to get some guys to Tuscaloosa with them in the future as he gets an opportunity to build relationships with a couple of guys. So Sayin still rolling with the Crimson Tide. I'm going to switch our attention now to a 2024 linebacker to know out of Booker T. Washington High School in Alabama, a 6'8" 6'3", 230-pound linebacker whose name is Joseph Phillips, who recently picked up an offer from the Crimson Tide. Also has an offer from Auburn, has an offer from Georgia, has an offer from Florida most recently after taking a visit to Gainesville. He said that visit was a great one, getting an opportunity to get out to Florida to see what they have to offer. Also has a great relationship with Auburn. I think if the Crimson Tide wants to get involved with Joseph Phillips and continue to recruit him at a high level in the future, I think this could possibly be an Iron Bowl recruiting battle in the future. Of course, he has a long way to go, but Auburn is in a really good position with him at the moment, in my opinion, because he said they're basically very close to his high school, with them being at Booker T. Washington High School. Also, he has a great relationship with their coaching staff, has a great relationship with his new staff at Auburn, because he feels that staff has given the program a new feel, which is something I've heard a lot from guys with Alabama and Auburn offers. The Auburn program is gaining some momentum with their new staff in Hugh Freeze, so it could be a little bit interesting, more interesting for sure than the 2023 recruiting class, because Auburn seems to give Alabama no trouble with any in-state recruit during that 2023 recruiting cycle. I expect things to be a little bit different when it comes to this 2024 recruiting cycle, and Joseph Phillips could be one of those guys. When you take a look at his film, he's an all-around athlete. Booker T. Washington uses him at wide receiver, and they allow him to rush the quarterback from the edge with that long frame. He's a physical, explosive athlete. He also wants to transition over to being an inside linebacker, because that is a position he feels he'll most likely play at the next level this upcoming season. So Auburn is in a really good position with Phillips. Also spoke highly of the Crimson Tide as well, said that it is crazy to get an offer from the Crimson Tide. Said you always just dream about and just think about getting an offer from Alabama because you watch them on TV all the time. So he said getting the offer from Alabama was just crazy and insane for him to finally get that offer. So he's definitely still considering Alabama, just trying to build this relationship with the Crimson Tide's coaching staff. They got to just keep your eyes on, in my opinion, if Alabama pushes for him, this would be an Iron Bowl recruiting battle probably in the end. The last guy I want to talk about on today is actually a 2025 recruit. Had the opportunity to travel to another gym in downtown Birmingham, Extreme Performance and Training. Had an opportunity to work with Coach Squith for a couple of days as an opportunity to catch up with Jordan Crawford, another Birmingham area defensive lineman to pay attention to. If you guys follow just recruiting inside the state of Alabama, just Alabama football in general, you are going to know that the Birmingham area has been very productive when it comes to developing defensive linemen. Just taking a look at the guys at Crimson Tide have had at their disposal. You have the Quentin Williams, you have the Ryan Payne, just to name a few. So these guys, Coach Swift, are trying to continue that tradition, and Jordan Crawford seems to be the next in line. The Parker High School product, who is a teammate of Jeremiah Beaman, so Parker's going to have a nasty defensive line this upcoming season. But Crawford has big time offers as well. Alabama just picked up Auburn, picked up Florida. He's going to most likely have all of the big time offers by the time everything is said and done. I had an opportunity to catch up with him, just talk a little bit about his Alabama offer. Said it meant a lot to him to get the offer from the Crimson Tide. He's looking to build his relationship with Alabama's coaching staff, of course, with him being a 2025 recruit. Has a long way to go, but Jordan Crawford is definitely a guy to look forward to covering here in the future. Just look forward to hearing us talk about him here at Touchdown Alabama. This is what I want to talk about on today's show. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button before you leave. Subscribe to the notification bell, be notified when we drop content on our YouTube page. Then head over to touchdownalabama.com, pick up your subscription today. Be sure to download the Touchdown Alabama app as well. It's back up and running, so be sure to get the app, Touchdown Alabama app, at the Apple App Store. And if you have an Android device or a Google device, be sure to download the app in the Google Play Store. But that is what I want to talk about in this episode of The Process. As always, I am Justin Smith, the Director of Recruiting for Touchdown Alabama.
Process.